ease, you know? No child should ever have to grow up in a situation like that. But that's what we're dealing with, you know? Oops. We're dealing with, whoopsie, we're dealing with a woman who cares nothing about honoring her word, having integrity. She's like, I'm upside down. Hold on. This thing fell. There we go. She has no integrity, like zero integrity. And my question is why is it our responsibility that she cares so much about what everyone else thinks? Yeah, I went on a little roller coaster. A little roller coaster ride. That's when the fun is definitely going to start. Like, you can kind of already see her personality coming out because you can only mask for so long. Like, she's been really good at masking for a certain amount of time, but her personality is slowly starting to rear its ugly head. And by the time she's off parole, it's going to be like a volcano explosion of attitude, and all kinds of other things, because Gypsy does what Gypsy wants. And even Ryan said that. Ryan was like, Gypsy does what she wants. Gypsy doesn't care. And I also wanted to talk about the fact that Mia did not go and watch I guess they were supposed to be doing like they were supposed to live stream together or whatever. Mia was supposed to come over there and they were supposed to do it together. In my personal opinion, I feel like the reason why Mia didn't go is because Mia is tired of everything always being about Gypsy. There's literally no reciprocity in any of Gypsy's relationships. It's always all about Gypsy, all about what Gypsy wants, and nobody else gets to like have a say in what happens. And those types of relationships can be pretty draining. And after a while, you start to not want to hang out with that person because it's like, why the fuck do I want to hang out with you? You're always talking about yourself. You never care about what's going on in my life. And I think that Mia is starting to see that more than anyone else because she's not actually living in the home with Christy and Rod. And yeah, it's going to be really bad when she gets off parole. And the thing with Gypsy, and I didn't know about, like, somebody had put it in a way that made it sound like Gypsy has this fixation on her dad. And because she had felt like she had gotten abandoned by her dad all those years ago, like, the goal has always been to somehow get back to her dad, right? Get back to her dad, live in this fairy tale life that she thinks that she's going to have, and that living with her dad is going to be so much better than it was living with her mom, that kind of thing. And I think she's slowly starting to see that her family, her dad, her stepmom, all of those people don't really cater to her like her mother did. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't really know her. Let's just keep it fucking real. These people do not know who Gypsy truly is. And I think that you can pretend to be whoever you want for an hour, for 2 hours, for, even maybe 8 hours. You can pretend to be a different person. But once you actually start spending time with someone and you notice their patterns of behaviors, that's when you really start to learn who that person truly is on the inside. And I think they're all starting to see who Gypsy really is. I think Ken's starting to see it. I think Mia is seeing it. I think her brother Dylan saw it before Gypsy even got out of prison, which is the reason why he was like, hell no, I don't want to have anything to do with this shit show. And he kept his distance. I think he saw it while she was in prison. And I think he's probably influencing Mia to see exactly what he sees, because the closer you are to a person, the harder it is for you to see how they're manipulating you. Like, I didn't realize I was being manipulated in my relationship until I actually stepped away from the relationship, and then I started to notice things. And if you do not have a lot of vocabulary, thank you so much. If you don't have a lot of vocabulary when it comes to manipulation, if you don't know like what things consist as manipulation, you're not going to see these little things that she does as manipulative. But like the other night when she was on live and she asked about the whole are we getting married? That was her trying to manipulate Ken. Yeah. She's always trying to manipulate somebody into something. And her putting the baby online was a deliberate manipulation tactic to keep the viewers interested in her, but also um remove that pressure from the Foia, because everybody's talking about it. I'm getting ready to talk about it. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get every last little bit of lotion out of here. I'm like sticking my finger in the very bottom trying to get it all. Hey y'all. Okay, so on my YouTube page last week, we were watching Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, and somebody copyright striked me. And my channel I think it got demonetized. I'm pretty sure it did, but I also was banned from posting on YouTube for an entire week because of it. Yeah. She definitely wants people to keep watching, hoping she's going to show more of the baby. It is definitely a game that she's playing, and she knows what she's doing. The fact of the matter is that Gypsy by herself is boring as fuck. That's why she has to create drama in order to feel like there is chaos in her life. She thrives on attention, drama, and chaos. And when life is boring, that's when you will see narcissists like her creating problems where there are none, so that there can be a little rift in the plane, because they like the waves. They don't like it when it's slow and steady. They like it up and down, going, on this roller coaster ride all the time. And that's what she's basically shown us for the last year that she's been out of prison. She already did, Michelle. She showed her face last night. She showed her face last night. And then they haven't paid me yet, but I did get a contract to get paid. Yeah. I don't think that they paid me yet. I didn't read the contract to see when I was supposed to get paid. Maybe I should. Thank you so much for the gifts. Oh yeah, she's going to start a problem. When she gets off parole, she's going to be ready to instigate issues. I'm so glad to be back. It was a long week of not being able to post on YouTube. I have to tell you, like, I was going crazy. Thank you. I'm so excited that I was on too. I was interested to see like how they were going to spin the videos, but it doesn't seem like they're using them in a negative way. I don't know how much she makes on Lifetime. I did. I heard her say, "Oh, there's that bitch," or something like that. It's already starting to come out a little bit slowly. Lil Red, last week we were watching Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup, and somebody copyright striked me while we were watching it live. And like my channel got completely shut down while we were live. And I didn't even realize what was happening at the time. And they copyright striked me, and I got blocked from posting for a week, and I'm pretty sure that it said that I was also demonetized. Well, we all know, thank you. We all know that Gypsy is a really nasty, vindictive person. Ken said himself, my problem is that I internalize. Gypsy's problem is that she retaliates. And he used that word retaliate because he knows that she's vindictive and she's always looking for a way to um get revenge on the person who she feel has wronged her. Why do you think her mother ended up dead? Like she literally killed her mom for revenge. It was nothing else but a revenge plot. She was mad because her mother did not want her dating these 50-year-old men online, and she took revenge on her. What's what her mom taught her, Maddie? It's weird that certain channels are able to continue to stay monetized and some aren't. Thank you for the follow. Oh my gosh, thank you. Are those donuts or is that tea? I don't think that they used it in a negative way at all, Darlene. I don't think so at all. If I'm being totally honest, I felt like they were using the video to highlight people's actual concern about Gypsy and her putting her life online. I didn't feel it was negative at all. I mean, that maybe that's just my perspective. I know everybody is allowed to have their own opinions, but I truly felt like they were highlighting real people in real life, our actual concerns about Gypsy posting her life online, going to speaking events, and those types of things. Thank you so much. I don't know what you mean that I stood up and that I did it and no one else could. What do you mean? That's so sweet, but I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think that that's what they're doing. I don't think that they're trying to make it look like that Gypsy's getting bullied. I mean, yeah, with the whole like creator driving by her house, maybe. But with everything else that they've posted, it honestly to me it looks like they're showing people's real opinions and real concern for why she is putting her life online. I didn't think that they were using it in a negative way at all, if I'm being totally honest. And it's not because they used one of my videos. Even if they hadn't used one of my videos, the videos that I saw did not feel like bullying. And it didn't feel like they were trying to make it look like she was being bullied either. Yeah, Gypsy Christy totally manipulated that drive by. And let me just say this, if she was so fucking scared that she couldn't sleep, why didn't she call the cops? You're trying to tell me that a girl who orchestrated the murder of her own mother is nervous that she's unable to protect herself? Like what? Like what are you saying? That you can have your mom unalived, but you can't stand up to somebody who's talking shit to you if they show up at your house. Like, that just makes no sense. So, in other words, you are okay with victimizing someone else because they're unable to fight back. But if somebody is actually able to fight back, you're defenseless against them, right? Because your mom was sleeping in her bed when you and Nicholas went in there and did what you did. She was defenseless. She was defenseless, and she couldn't protect herself at that point in time. But if somebody else comes up, you need to know martial arts, like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm curious, like, what did the cops even do? Okay, take a break. She's always wanting to play the victim. That's the only role that Gypsy knows how to play. Thank you so much, Lenny. That's the only role that Gypsy knows how to play. She does not know how to play an overachiever. She doesn't know how to play, any other character that actually goes out and does something with their life. Oh, that's funny. So they must have paid the cops to do that. She's not scared of a TikToker. She just wanted to make it seem like she was. She's not scared. Gypsy's very vindictive, and I'm sorry, but she did commit a first degree murder. Yes, she pled guilty to a second degree, but she committed first degree premeditated murder. So, in my opinion, she's not going to stand up and fight somebody who actually comes over to her house to try to fight her. No, she's going to plan and plot her revenge for when the person is least expecting it. That's the type of dangerous person that she is. And that's what makes it so scary, that she has all of these people watching her, because who knows what she will do and who she will manipulate to enlist her revenge on whoever she wants to get revenge on. Maddie, I don't know. I don't know why she would have to fight. That she was the one who mentioned, I don't know martial arts. Like, her first thought process went to fighting that person rather than having an actual conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can all be grown-ups and have an adult conversation, and nobody needs to throw blows. It doesn't need to be a fist fight. You can actually talk and communicate and solve your problems with communication. You don't have to resort to violence, but it shows who she is, that that's the first thing that her mind goes to is violence. You know what I'm saying? Let me go throw this away. I'll be right back. It's people like her that you have to really watch out for. Who's making problems for her? I don't know anybody that's making problems for her. What kind of problems do you think that they're making? Right. People aren't interested in I'm making problems for her. How so? How so? Please explain. I am so interested. Oh, no response to that, huh? Okay, let me look up. Here it is. How am I getting into her business? I'm literally at my house minding my own business. Articulate a little bit better because what you're saying makes no fucking sense. We're literally all in her business because she put her life on TV. If she didn't want people in her business, she knows how to get the fuck offline. It's that simple. I don't know who that Maddie is, but she's obviously got a problem, and if she has a problem, she can fucking leave. Like, let's just look at it like this. You know those love shows like Love is Blind, Hey Laurel, you know, like Love is Blind, Treasure Island, or whatever the fuck those shows are. Those show Have a good night, Maddie. I thank you for coming in, but I can talk about whatever it is that I want because this is my platform. So, you know how they have like contestants on those shows. Well, these contestants that go on the show, they go on the show for a reason. Not because they really feel like they're going to find love in the pod. That's an extra bonus. The real reason why people go on the show is to get exposure, to have their name, to have their face, to have who they are out there in front of people so that they can get more opportunities, right? That's the entire premise of people going on a reality TV show. It's because they want exposure, they want to be seen, they want people to talk about them. And if Gypsy didn't want exposure to be seen, people to talk about her, then she wouldn't have signed a fucking contract with Lifetime to have a reality television show. Like, you can't honestly think that she expected to have a reality TV show and actually not anybody be interested in talk about her. Like, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute because the entire reason why people sign up to go on TV is because they want to be seen. Yes, I did. I know that Lifetime was using my footage. Wondering where I was and what happened to my video. I was copyright striked. Tonight, Amber? Oh yeah, and of course to make money because you know that when you go on a reality TV show, yes, I am back. When you go on a reality TV show, you get paid. Now, I know that like with Love is Blind, you only get paid if you make it to the altar because I had a friend on Love is Blind and she told me that you only get paid if you make it to the altar. You're still getting I'm freezing. Oh no. You're still getting paid, but it's not as much as the people who actually make it to the altar and get married. But most of the people on reality TV shows are getting paid some type of money. Okay, good. Sandra, it might be your connection. My connection's pretty good, so I don't know why I'm freezing. Am I freezing on YouTube? I'm asking the people on YouTube if it's freezing there too. Okay, Chris says it's not. Yeah, everybody else says it's fine. So, if it's freezing on you, exit out and then come back in. Okay, cool. Y'all, I was so mad when I got copyright striked. Like, I was so mad. I only had one. It is a bit laggy. Okay, I don't know what I can do other than go off and then come back on. Y'all want me to try that? I can hang up and then come back. Okay. Is it good or I need to hang up and come back? I'll stay on YouTube since the problem's only on TikTok. Okay, everyone. Lucky Charm saying it's bad. Okay, let me hang up and come back. I'm going to keep you guys on since the problem's only on um TikTok. Oh shoot, I forgot which page we were on this Foia. There's so much information in this Foia too, by the way, that I can see the reason why she was so desperate to have people stop talking about it. Hello, hello. Okay. I'm trying to get to the Foia where we were from the other night. I did go live the other night on TikTok and I read a little bit. I think FOIA stands for Freedom of Information Act. Oh, it's after midnight where you are. Hey, everybody, let me know if it's still lagging. Well, thank you for coming to hang out, even though you're resting. At least you're getting your rest. Okay. A lot of this has to do with his make sure you're double tapping the screen because we had like almost 2,000 likes on the last one. Oh, okay. Mm-mm-mm. She said, I'll never look at my electric toothbrush the same. Okay, good. Make sure you're double tapping the screen because we had almost 3,000 likes. It was like 2.5 thousand likes on the last video. All right. I haven't even gotten that far into the Foia, but I can already tell like that was a lot. And let me just say this for somebody who claims that she was in this horrible, abusive, controlling situation, that she was unable to seek any sort of help to get out of the situation that she was in. Where was her mother when she was making these 20-minute long videos sending them to Nicholas every single time? You know what I mean? Like, where was her mom when these videos were being sent? Because in my mind, if you are being controlled to the point that you're accusing your mom of handcuffing you to the bed, to me, that tells me that you're not going to have access to the phone. Hell, the house might not even have internet. You might not even have a TV to watch. Like if you're being that controlled to where you're getting handcuffed to the bed, you're not going to have simple freedoms like being able to make 20-minute long videos masturbating yourself to send to your boyfriend. Like that's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I find it so incredible, still to this day, I find it so incredibly difficult to believe that anyone still believes her bullshit story. Yeah, I don't have an electric toothbrush. I have one of the regular ones that are like bamboo. Yay! I'm so glad to hear it's much better. And I kind of prefer using a regular toothbrush. It just doesn't make sense that people believe that all these things actually happened. Like the whole issue with a dentist just pulling her teeth out for no, thank you, Anthony. The whole issue with people thinking that the dentist just pulled her teeth out for no reason at all. For no reason at all. Just because her mother complained that she was having teeth pain. I'm sorry, have you ever been to a dentist? Because if you've ever actually been to a dentist, they're not going to pull your tooth out. Even if you have a cavity, they're not going to pull it out. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do a root canal and then they're going to fill it. Because that's what they do. They want to actually keep your teeth inside of your mouth. They don't want to pull them out. So the fact that she had so many taken out is evidence that she wasn't taking care of her teeth. Not to mention that she wasn't brushing, she was eating a lot of sugary stuff, she was drinking a lot of soda, and in her medical records it specifically said in the dental records, it specifically mentioned not for her not to drink fizzy pops and eat sweets. Exactly. What would they be calling her if she continued the strabismus and it got worse and worse and worse, and then she ended up blind and actually ended up paralyzed? Because can't your eye function affect like the rest of your body? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. It's okay for me to be wrong about that. Thank you. Thank you. 30s and thriving. I don't actually believe that she drank a bottle until she was 23. I do, however, believe that she drank a bottle until she was 15 or even 13, because she has this weird fetish with the number 13. Everything she says as it relates to her daughter is 13. Like she was going to give Nicholas her daughter at 13. When somebody asked her about getting her daughter's ear pierced, she said, "Yeah, we'll do that at 13." Like it's this weird thing with that number. So I think that she associates that number 13 because that was probably when she stopped drinking the bottle. By that time, all of her teeth were fucking, rotten out of her head. And what I found also really interesting is how many people on the video that I posted about her teeth, how many people did not know that when you let a bottle sit in your mouth overnight or for long periods of time, it causes bottle rot. I was so shocked to know that people didn't know that information. And I don't know if it's because like they didn't have kids or it wasn't something that, they had heard or researched or what have you. But I was surprised that a lot of people did not understand that that was a thing that could happen, and that, kids aren't supposed to sleep with bottles in their mouth. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think she was in diapers until she was 24 either. I think she was lying about that also. Do I think that she used them when she was on her period? Yeah, probably. But I don't think that it was like a daily thing. And if I'm being totally honest, I have heard from other women that wearing like diapers when you're on your period is actually better than wearing a pad or a tampon, because it's actually catching everything and it's not actually going to leak out of your underwear onto your clothes. So I'm just saying, even though I'm not wearing a diaper, I don't think that it's odd for grown women to wear a diaper, especially whenever they are wearing a diaper for period purposes, because sometimes you don't have a lot of time throughout the day to actually like change a tampon or whatever. So, like, wearing a diaper just seems like the more effective time management, effective tool to use, so that you can just be free in your diaper and not have to worry about leaking out. I'm just saying that's not the weirdest thing that I've heard. I do think that she was using the bottle as like cosplay for these videos that she was making with Nicholas, or whatever men she was catering to online, because she mentioned several times that she was catering to men online. She mentioned that they were like, in their 30s to 50s, which in my opinion at 20 years old is just gross. But that, oh, I forgot. I have ADHD, so I always like hop back and forth, but give me just 1 second. Oh yes, last week I got I got copyright striked, and I wasn't able to post anything for the entire week. She did. She had a fetish with them. It was like weird. It was like a weird fetish. I'm so glad you guys are back though. I'm so glad I'm back. And also, when going back to the teeth, if you're sucking a bottle, I just want you to pretend I'm going to put my thumb in my mouth and I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what it looks like from the side, because the nipple and your thumb are kind of similar. And if you're sucking your thumb, your your two front teeth are going to come out. They're going to come forward and they're also going to separate. See how it pushes my front teeth out? And she was drinking a bottle. So, especially, I think after one is when you're supposed to take your kid off of the bottle and like switch them to the sippy cup. So, if you're drinking a bottle until you're 13 years old, yeah, it's going to do some damage to your teeth. I don't think anybody's called me a sellout, technically. Hold on, I need to catch up to the comments really quick. Thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate you just continuously tapping the screen. That was really nice. The diapers. I know. I'm not gonna do that either. Like, I'm not gonna wear a diaper when I'm on my period, but I have heard that, people do it. Right. I thought it was one. Okay. I'm glad that I like had that number right. And somebody else mentioned that they thought that it was child ABUSE, that she was still drinking a bottle at whatever age that it was. And I had to kind of explain to them, like, you don't know Gypsy. I'm sure because she was such a spoiled bitch as a child. I mean, she's such a spoiled bitch as an adult. I couldn't imagine what she was like as a child. I'm sure she was fucking insufferable. And God bless her mother for dealing with her, because I'm sure she was like the worst of the worst children. I'm sure she threw a fit and just like made a huge stink if her mom wouldn't give her the bottle. So I had to kind of explain that to them. When you're dealing with somebody like her specifically, hold on. It was that you? Okay. When you're dealing with somebody like her specifically, the rules don't technically apply. And not only do they not apply, thank you, Jess, not only do they not apply as it relates to the bottle, they don't apply to anything else. You know why? Because she was sick. She was sick. So just think about, if you have a child, I know not everybody is mothers, and that's okay. But if you have a child, if you don't have a child, if you have a dog, or some kind of animal, just imagine if they were sick and you thought that they were going to die. You didn't know how to help them. You want to give them everything because you never know when it's going to be their last day. You know what I mean? Um I think that she really preyed on that emotional, sympathetic from her own mother, and I think that she enjoyed manipulating her mom in that way to receive emotional support and sympathy. um that I think that her mother spent a lot of time trying to appease her because she probably felt like she didn't know how long she was going to live. Not for her mental health, Laurel. She has never had any diagnosis for her mental health. She has only had diagnosis for her medical issues, not her mental health. I am doing some commentary on her show. Not a lot though, because if I'm being honest, it's fucking boring. Like, there's just nothing going on that's worth really talking about other than pointing out the lies, the manipulation, and the inconsistencies. Everything else is just really lackluster, not a lot of attention grabbing situations. I did talk briefly earlier about how I felt like the reason why Mia didn't show up to do the live stream with Gypsy was because Mia's probably tired of Gypsy and Gypsy shit, and she didn't want to spend time with her. I think Mia's starting to wake up that Gypsy isn't who Gypsy has been saying she has been, and she's learning that she doesn't really like her, trust her, want to be around her. That's what I think too, Darlene. Um nobody should like be worried about content creators getting paid to expose Gypsy. She's getting paid, so why can't we? You know? I do think Dee Dee thought she was really special. I think that she thought that she was really special. I think that she thought that there were a lot of things wrong with her daughter. And from what I'm reading, not reading now, but from what I've heard about the information that's in the Foia, it seems like Gypsy has been pretending that she couldn't walk and about how sick she was since she was 6 years old to her own mom. Like, you have to seriously be fucked up mentally at 6 years old to lie about not being able to use your legs. Like, who does that? At 6 years old, you're lying about not having use in your leg because you don't think that your mom is gonna love you? That just to me does I mean, it's crazy. What's April 1st? Yeah, I know a lot of creators did choose not to have their content included in the Lifetime show. I think the reason, yes, very much sociopath, narcissism. I think the reason why they chose have um not to have their content included in the show was because they were under the impression that it was going to be used to highlight them in a negative light. And I never really jumped on that train. And I still don't feel like they've used the content that they have used to portray anything negatively. I feel like what they have done with the content creators that they have used and the content that they have used, I feel like they have actually highlighted general, real concern from people out here that are concerned for the welfare of the child and the welfare of our society, with her influencing our society. They did pay me for my content. I haven't gotten paid yet. I need to look at the contract to see like how and when I'm supposed to get paid. They did ask for my bank information and I did give them that. So we'll like honestly, I haven't even checked my bank account to see if the money's in there. Because I just haven't checked. But I'm not really sure like when I'm supposed to get paid. I didn't pay attention to if it was supposed to be like 30 days after the show airs or, whatever was in the contract. I didn't read that part. You know what I'm talking about in the raw. You know what I'm saying about Mia. So, did you notice that when they were sitting at the table eating, Gypsy was talking to Mia about like her experience at the school and how people were just like bullying her, this, that, and the other, and how Mia was like, oh well, I thought that people there were a lot of comments saying that your dress was really nice. There was a lot of comments, positively, this, that, and the other. And I think that Mia has kind of taken on this role that she doesn't really like, of being the hype woman, that person that's always trying to be uplifting and positive and just trying to make your day seem better because you're always down. That that particular relationship can be extremely draining because you're always feeling like you're having to cater to the other person's needs, where you're not really having your needs reciprocated. And I think that that's what Mia is starting to figure out about Gypsy, is that all of her relationships are one-sided. It's give, 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 give to Gypsy always, and she never gives anything in return. Right, Sandra. And it's like, how can you? That's exactly what I was saying earlier, Luna. I think Dylan saw what Mia is seeing now in prison. I think that there were probably a couple of times when Dylan went to go visit, with the family, like they went as a family. I think that Dylan saw it then in the prison, and he was like, hell no, I don't want to have anything to do with this shit. That's Mia's older brother. Dylan and Gypsy are about the same age. I also believe that because as a as a woman, if you grew up with oops whoopsie if you grew up with a brother specifically, you're always going to want to know what it's like to have a sister. That sister bond, that one person that you can go to and talk to your problems about and just get like girl advice, right? I think that Mia was really craving that sister relationship. I think that that's the reason why she was more willing than Dylan to kind of put in a little bit more effort to see, um, to, I guess, give Gypsy the benefit of the doubt and kind of be in a relationship with her and like get to know her. I think because she was craving that sister bond, that's why she was so willing to spend time with Gypsy and get to know her and that sort of thing. And because Gypsy is not turning out to be who Mia thought that she was, I think that that's the reason why she's pulling back. Right. They made Mia think that Gypsy was normal, that she didn't have any sicknesses, any illnesses, that she was totally like one of us, and that she was just kind of held back the entire time by her mother making her be sick. Now it's coming out that Christy knew, Rod knew, even Mike Stanfield knew. He made a comment about it in Monday's show, and I can play it if you want. They all knew that Gypsy had significant health issues. I mean, significant health issues. And they all knew that they were lying about it. Yep, it's all sucked into abyss. I think Mia is also very logical, but you also have to look at it as a way, in the way that Mia and Dylan and Rod and Christy, they don't really know who Gypsy is. They didn't grow up with Gypsy. So they don't really know like how she behaves, how she acts, how she acts when she gets mad, frustrated, sad, lonely, depressed, whatever. No one does but Gypsy. And I think that they all had really high hopes for how life was going to be, but in the last episode, Mia specifically said, I think that Gypsy learned her lesson from the last time whenever, she was cheating on Ryan with Ken. She was like, I think she learned her lesson. I hope she learned it good enough. Right? Because she knows that she hasn't learned her lesson. And Mia also knows that Gypsy tells everyone that Mia is the one with the head on her shoulders. Everyone looks at Mia like the wise one, I think is what she called her. So when you see Gypsy going to Mia for advice, it's because she wants the public to believe that she's looking up to her sister, to get advice from her sister, to before she does whatever she does. But in all actuality, Gypsy doesn't give a fuck what Mia thinks. Gypsy's going to do whatever Gypsy's going to do. And I think that Mia sees that now, that she sees that no matter what advice she's giving her on like love, whatever, that Gypsy isn't going to take any of her advice. And it's like, why am I spending all this time trying to, console you, try to give you advice, try to help you, and you're not going to take any of it? Yeah, Gypsy's definitely manipulating Mia, but Mia sees it. And I think that's the reason why she's pulled away. I can almost guarantee you that she won't be having much to do with Gypsy moving forward. Because if you think about it, like Mia went to the baby shower, Mia did all these different things for Gypsy, and was Gypsy at Mia's graduation? No. So, how does Gypsy support Mia during her wins? And I made a comment about that on Mia's page, and she blocked me. Yeah, Gypsy wants to be Mia. I think that she envies her. I think that she wants basically the life that Mia had when Mia was growing up. I think that that's what she technically is envious of. Not necessarily the life that Mia has now. I think that she's more envious about the life that Mia had growing up, and she wished that she could have been Mia growing up. And it's sad. Yeah, there's a lot of things that Gypsy does specifically for the camera. I think that Dylan was very smart to stay out of the media. Exactly. It wasn't about Gypsy. And it could have also been that because it was an event for Mia specifically, that they didn't want Gypsy there because they didn't want the drama that comes along with taking Gypsy out in public. You know what I mean? I don't know where this idea came from that Gypsy believes that Ken likes blondes. Ken himself said that he never said that. Hold on. Nope, that's not it. What did I do with that video? Here it is. Pay attention to what he's saying. Destigmatization, who she is. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find. Deciding someone's fate. The best way I can. Hold on. I'm trying to fast forward it to find exactly what I was telling you about. Coming out and not having a life, I guess you could say, already lived and sowed my wild oats and everything already. I think yeah, that's so fucking weird, Karen. And maybe I'll get it after parole, maybe not. I don't know. That's very narcissistic. That is the thing that is keeping me free. Making sure I am doing everything that I can to follow those rules. I still pay attention. When Gypsy walked into the attorney-client room, the very first time I met her, she was having a hard time breathing just from the exertion of the walk from her cell down there because of the physical situation with her being in a wheelchair so often, the medications. Did you hear that on YouTube? If not, I can put it closer to you. Did you guys hear that on TikTok? He said specifically that her walking from her cell to the attorney's room, she was out of breath. She was literally in pain. She couldn't even make it that far walking. And how much progress she's made over the years. She can't even walk down the street without needing a four-wheeler to drive to the Dollar General. Like, you see what I'm saying? He knew that it was all bullshit. And I think that I think the manipulation started with Mike Stanfield. I think Mike Stanfield manipulated the situation because he saw dollar bills. He saw, I can make this girl look like the world's biggest victim, and we can make a shit ton of money off of this story, even though he knew that it was all fabricated, that it wasn't true. There were certain things that he was saying throughout the Mommy Dead and Dearest. Like there was a an excerpt that he was reading saying something along the lines of that Dee Dee was holding her hands over Gypsy's ears in the doctor's office. It wasn't, he manipulated that. It's not in the records that Dee Dee was holding hands over her ears because of mental retardation, delay at 7 years old, or whatever the fuck he said. He said, I mean, the records indicate that the reason why she was holding her hands over Gypsy's ears was because she was telling the doctor that Gypsy was being clumsy in her wheelchair, that she was being clumsy. And that's what was actually written in the doctor's note. But he manipulated it on TV to make it sound worse than what it actually was. It is from her deletion. Oh, Cozy Literary Brew. We've been talking about a lot because we've been on for an hour now. Oh, she absolutely goes through his phone. I bet money that she has his like login information on like an iPad or something somewhere. So she can see every message that comes through when it comes through. Like she's that kind of crazy. You know what I mean? She does that a lot, Natalie. She complains a lot about how her legs are aching and her legs are hurting. And that's the reason why you always see her like holding her hips or or like or sitting down a lot. I couldn't imagine being at Orlando or wherever her and Ken went, whatever theme park they went to. I couldn't imagine being with him, with her, and how many times she probably needed to stop to sit down or complain about her legs hurting, because it's a real problem, this muscle weakness that she has with the chromosome deletion. Yeah, she still suffers from all that today. And I think that that's another thing that the family is starting to see also. I think they're all, especially Mia and Dylan, because keep in mind that the adults have always known that Gypsy's been sick. The adults have always known. Did Dylan and Mia always know that it was a facade, that Gypsy, that this whole entire thing was a charade? Probably not. They were probably conditioned just like half of society has been conditioned to believe that, she's the ultimate victim, a victim of her mother's Munchausen by proxy, and I believe that everyone is now starting to realize that that story does not hold water anymore. It does not hold weight. And I honestly believe that that's why everyone is pulling away, because when the shit hits the fan and the more popular narrative is that the story's been fabricated and has been a lie, um think about all the people that are going to go down with her. Like, the sinking ship it's like the Titanic breaking in half, and some people are going to make it and some people aren't. um Yeah, that's what is real Munchausen by proxy. And I've said from the very first, I want to say, after I spent time like looking into the case, and I read her first book. After I read her first book, I was under the impression that Gypsy was the one who was faking the medical issues for attention. I always had it in the back of my mind that it was Gypsy that had Munchausen. It was not by proxy. It was her faking being sick because she felt like that was the only way she was going to get attention from her mother. And if what she said in these Foia documents is actually true, and she's been lying and complaining about like not having feeling in her legs since 6 years old because she didn't think that her mom was going to love her if she didn't, if she wasn't a sick girl. Kimber, stop. That just goes further to prove my theory of Gypsy having Munchausen. I think 30s and Thriving, I think the book is called, hold on, I'm trying to find it. It's an ebook. It's on my Kindle. Give me a second. I think it's On the Eve of Freedom Released is what it's called. Yes, it's called Released. And that was the book that came out. I want to say it came out the day after she got released from prison. There's a lot, hey Mystic, there's a lot of information in that book. And when you read that book, if you haven't already read the second one, there's a lot of information in that first book that's contradictory to the second book. Everything that she went through is traced back to the deletion. Everything. She didn't have anything happen to her that was not a part of her chromosome deletion. And for her to even say that she went unscathed is just totally like ludicrous. It's false. It's not true. She had a lot of issues. A lot of issues. She wanted to continue to be spoiled by Dee Dee. She enjoyed the attention that she got from her mom for being a sick kid. But can you imagine? Hey, girl, it has been a while. Can you imagine feeling like, as a mother, finding out, like, let's just pretend for a minute that all this time that that Gypsy was growing up, her mother was under the impression that she couldn't walk. It would make sense now, looking at that video of Gypsy jumping off of the like the porch going into the snow. It would make sense why she was pretending that she couldn't move her legs, because her mother was filming. And if she was if she was pretending that she didn't have any feeling in her leg for all this time, imagine her mother finally finding out that her daughter can walk after all these years of thinking that her daughter is paralyzed, unable to walk, unable to do much of anything. And then she's 18 years old and all of a sudden she can walk. Imagine that as a mother. Like, just for a second, the shock, the sheer like confusion of seeing your child walk, not only walking, but threatening you. And all of a sudden, it's like, what the fuck has been going on for the last however long, for the last 12 years? Imagine how they were under investigation for fraud, and I can almost guarantee, if this story is true, that her mother was like, I'm not going down for you. I'm not going down for you. You lied to me and told me that you were paralyzed. I thought all this time that you were paralyzed, and you were deceiving me, your own mother. Like, imagine that conversation, that you're trying to have a conversation with your child about how you've been deceived for the last 12 years, and all of a sudden this child is just like trying to retaliate against you. Exactly. I definitely agree that Aditi had always been trying to protect Gypsy. It was never about um like maybe it was a little bit about monetary gain, but I think more than anything, Dee Dee wanted to give Gypsy the best life that she could because she thought she had a dying kid. She didn't know how bad the chromosome disorder truly was. And she thought she had a kid that was literally withering away, never knowing when she was gonna take her last breath. I mean, can you imagine that? Like, as a parent, even as a parent of an animal, just imagine thinking that your poor dog or whatever is so sick and frail, and you're just watching them, slowly die every single day. You'd want to give your dog, your child, everything that you could. And I think that that's what Dee Dee tried to do. I think that she tried to give her everything that she possibly could. And when she realized that, especially after they moved, because they were just small potatoes in New Orleans and Louisiana. Once they got up to Missouri, that's when they were riding them big horses. That's when they were really amping up the medical fraud and I guess we would call it the con of Gypsy having all these medical issues so that they could continue to profit. I don't know, Cozy, if there's a way to prove that she perjured, that um that Dee Dee, sorry, not Dee Dee, Gypsy was telling, I want to say, Nick's attorneys that she wasn't honest about anything. And in the first few interviews that she did after getting arrested, like with Dr. Phil, Mommy Dead and Dearest, that she wasn't honest in those either, that she hasn't been honest, that basically she's been lying throughout the entire thing. So it would be hard to trust anything that she says, because if she's been lying since the beginning, how do you know what's true and what's fiction? You know? Because it's just hard to understand, like, the level of deceit that she is able to pull off with literally no forethought on how it's going to affect the next lie, you know? It's all about just preserving right now. And somebody had, because I made a point to say that Gypsy is very methodical, and she even said herself that she's a planner. She loves to plan. But then I also said that she acts on impulse, and the commenter was like, "Well, how can she be a planner but yet act on impulse?" Well, you can be both things. You can think about when you want to retaliate against somebody and methodically plan out that retaliation. But when you are thinking about short term happiness, which Gypsy does, you're going to be impulsive when making those short term happiness decisions. She's very calculated when she wants something that she's trying to achieve, like getting paroled, the unaliving of her mom, manipulating the world into thinking that she's the biggest victim. Like, all this was a huge plan, but now that she's out, she's making impulsive decisions like getting pregnant. Um, just other things. It's hard to explain everything, but you understand what I'm saying. Yep, Ken saying that she retaliates is a very indicative of what her true behavior is. Yep, because if he's publicly putting that out there that she's retaliatory, and people who retaliate are vindictive, and they're going to look at whatever they can to make sure that they feel like they've gotten vengeance against the person that they're trying to retaliate against. And lots of times, even when they get that retaliation, they're still not particularly happy with that retaliation. And we see that with Gypsy and her mom. um Even unaliving her wasn't good enough. She had to drag her name through the mud after death. The same with Nicholas. Getting him locked up in prison for life wasn't good enough. She retaliated against him because he flipped on her. And so even now, she's upset with him still, that she's continuing to drag his name even further. She did the same thing with Ryan. It's a constant cycle with these people that, um I guess she feels, she's been wronged by. Oh yeah, I totally feel like she used the brush herself and claimed that it was somebody else's blonde hair just to create drama. I'm so thankful that you think that in the raw. I've spent a lot of time learning about manipulative people, and yeah, unfortunately. You thought that too? I was wondering. Because at one point she did have blonde hair, right? Remember? And he probably doesn't even use that brush anymore. I mean, he's got like what, 3 hair strands? So she probably used the brush herself and then planted it so that she could make a scene about it and cause drama. I'm glad I'm able to explain so well. I don't know if Raina has blonde hair. I I would have no idea. I haven't seen her. Has anybody seen her? I don't even know what she looks like. I think I tried to send her a friend request on Facebook. She never responded, which I understand. I don't know. It was hard to tell. It's been a while since I looked at that photo of her on Facebook, so I'm not really sure if it's like blondish gray. Yeah, it's adrenaline to them to cause drama. I was saying that earlier, Bajork. They ride this wave because they don't like it when things are plateaued and calm and stable. Narcissists really crave the wave of the drama that keeps them constantly, on this emotional roller coaster. Because when things are boring, there's no excitement for them. And that's why they like, the roller coaster ride. Yeah, he is done. You can tell he's done. I haven't seen her, so I don't know. I think that that's the reason why she said that to Neil. I think that she said it because she was trying to, like almost in a weird way, accuse him of keeping the hairbrush because his ex girlfriend used it or something. And then she went on further to say some things should be disregarded from in the past. Like, you're not still married to somebody else. And then she made a comment about how she didn't have anything of Ryan's, and for me, that spoke volumes because when she was living with Ryan, she had pictures of her and Ken at Ryan's house. So, why is it okay for you to carry around pictures of you and your ex boyfriend, but you're mad at Ken because he still has pictures of him and his ex girlfriend and greeting cards when you were doing the exact same thing to Ryan just a few months before? The thing with narcissists is that it's like it's okay for me to do it, it's not okay for you to do it. Rules for me, but not for thee. Meaning that I can do whatever I want, but you can't do that same thing because then it's a problem. Oh, I'm sure that she was the one who put all the pictures of herself on the refrigerator. And he was just like, okay, whatever. Guys don't care about shit like that. I don't know what the ex girlfriend looks like. I don't know what his ex girlfriend's name is. I don't know anything about her. I'd love to find out. I'd love to actually talk to her. I thought it was just weird. It's like this weird shrine. I'm almost 100% positive that she's still talking to Ryan. We all know that she does witchcraft. So it's probably some sort of a witchcraft ritual for her to have like all those photos on the fridge. You know what I'm saying? Like there's probably something like really weird with it. Yeah. But I also think that there's a reason behind that too. I think that there's probably some like weird witchcraft ritual that she's done, and that's the reason why the pictures are there. You know how they used to have those like what are they called, voodoo dolls, where you could like poke it, and if you had like put a spell on the other person, they would like feel whatever you were doing with the voodoo doll. I think that that's something like that. I don't know anything about the number 13 with witchcraft. But I'll have to look that up because I can totally see how the number 13 could coincide with witchcraft as well. Yeah, it definitely is like a fucking dog. And why was Parker locked in the bathroom or outside the other day? Like that to me was incredibly fucked up. Like, did you see him whenever she opened the door to like let him in? He was so incredibly happy. Like, I worry for Parker. I do too. She was also complaining that his hair was like getting everywhere and it's starting to be her pet peeve. And it's like, girl, you got a tattoo of a husky. Did you not realize huskies shed hair? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hair in the house. When I had a husky, we had to vacuum every day. Okay, so look at Walt Disney and look at numerology. Okay, I will. She also said that she didn't believe in the tarot cards, but she fully believed that her mother put a voodoo hex on her. So, which is it? Do you believe that your mother put a voodoo hex on you with cow tongue and period blood and all this weird shit, and you felt like your mom had these like mysterious witchy vibes, but you don't believe in tarot cards? You were so scared of your mom because she put some sort of a voodoo hex on you, but you don't believe in tarot cards. That to me doesn't add up. Narcissists do not love. They do not. They use and discard. That's all they do. Use and discard. Use and discard. Every single person that comes into their life is for a purpose. Once that purpose has been served, discard. I don't even think narcissists love their self. I think that the narcissists really just want so badly to have all the attention, the praise, the admiration, all of that on them because they are so deeply insecure and hate themselves so much that the only way that they feel good about who they are is when they are receiving outward praise from someone else. I think she's incredibly unhappy and miserable, and that's why she's constantly seeking attention. Oh, that would be right in the raw, because if he's saying that he only did 4, then that would mean that she did 13. Dude, it just makes so much more sense now that she actually did the 13, which is why she's constantly talking about 13, 13, 13. Crazy. It's so amazing what we're able to do as we collaborate as a group and how we're able to like figure things out together. I wanted to talk about that too, Karen, because every smile you see is like it's like a real smile. But whenever you are dealing with kids who are like unhappy in their home life, it's like fake. It's like barely showing any excitement. There's a difference between like an actual real happy smile and a fake one, you know? And all of her pictures have actual like real happy smiles. It's so she even mentioned in her first book that she was into the occult, that she had dabbled in it when she was in prison, but realized it wasn't for her. I don't think that that's true. And narcissists do repeat patterns. It's all, yeah, she got a tattoo of a husky. Idiot. She's such an idiot. Like, how do you get a tattoo of a husky and not realize that that kind of a dog sheds? It just goes to show that she takes on the persona of everyone that she's with. She doesn't have her own um individual identity. She assumes the identity of the person that she's trying to mirror. So that's why right now we're seeing her look more and more like Mia, because she's trying to morph and energy siphon Mia's energy to like morph into her. And that's how energy siphoning works. You basically slowly over time you start becoming that person, you start acting like them, dressing like them, doing everything like them, and then slowly you have taken away all their energy, and you can already see that Mia's pretty much done with her. She like doesn't have the energy to deal with her anymore, and that's because Gypsy has siphoned all of it out of her. And in order for Mia to regain her energy back, she needs to keep her distance from Gypsy so that she's able to reclaim her own energy and her own independence again. Because right now, Gypsy and her have kind of morphed into one person because Gypsy is so desperately trying to be her sister. I know it sounds crazy, but that's just how it works. It's weird that you're right. The dogs weren't comfortable around her, and now the baby isn't comfortable around her. Now, I can say this for with dogs, it kind of depends on the dog's energy, how they're going to react to you. You know, some dogs are very comfortable with a lot of people, and some dogs aren't. But I could tell right away when she took pictures with Parker that he does not trust her. He does not like her. He does not trust her. He was giving like whale eyes, which is showing through doggy body language that he's scared of her. Thank you for the follow. Okay, you guys, I've got to go. It's been a nice hour and a half that we've been on. I am going to be back tomorrow. My entire the entire reason for me coming online tonight was so that we could start to read the Foia document. I did not even open it didn't even open the fucking computer. I'm so sorry, but we can do that tomorrow. We can start looking at the Foia documents and actually getting into them and reading a little bit about what's going on. That was my full intention, was to, start with the Foia documents and like read all of those. Yeah, that's my dog. Read all of those, but we got distracted with conversation, which is fine. There's my dog. All right, you guys, I will see you tomorrow. Kimber, sit. You all have a good night. Any fun? Thank you. I'm trying to turn that off. Okay. All right. I need to go get in the shower because I smell like dirty dog water and sweat. I haven't taken a shower all day, and then I got home and him and I went outside and yeah, he's got a mohawk. And I threw the ball to him for like 45 minutes. So I cut his hair myself. He just got a haircut on Sunday. He needed it. So now he smells nice and clean. He looks fresh. Thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on at 7:30. Okay, bye. All right, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. It's been a while. I really needed to talk to you all. I was so upset for getting like banned. That shit had me so pissed off. But I'm so glad to be back. And yes, in the Raw, it'll be tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you then. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming.